My name is Art Zimmer, and this is the story of my 85 years of life. I grew up on a farm right outside of Hamilton, New York. My family and I grew up pretty poor, so we could not afford to hire help on the farm. At 11 years old, I started working on the farm full-time. School wasn't a priority, my work was, so school was kind of a part-time activity. Because I had no time for school, I failed everything, including English, for 4 years in a row. I'm borderline illiterate, but I have written 3 books, and one is a bestseller. When I was 17, I joined the Army to get off the farm and go see the world, of which I did. I spent 6 years in the Army. At the time, I was in good physical shape and used to getting up early in the morning, so I had no complaints. It was like a vacation for me in the Army. After my stint in the Army, I returned to Hamilton, taking on lots of part-time jobs such as painting houses around town, working at a grocery store, and then a TV repair shop. I enrolled myself in a community college in Utica and took some classes there as well. I then hitchhiked to Syracuse, not knowing a soul when I arrived, with only $18 in my pocket. And I like to say that 40 years later, I left town owning half the city. Not exactly, but it's kind of fun to say that. I had all kinds of businesses, and at one time had 300 employees and 13 businesses total. It started when I was living in a 2-family house, and the landlady came by and told me it was getting difficult for her to continue running the house. I told her I could solve her problem. I had no money, but I didn't need a down payment because of the GI program for veterans. So I bought the house. Now I could party and not get evicted. After that, I started buying old apartment houses all around town that people were looking to get rid of with no money down. I would fix them up, rent them out, and that's how I started. I ended up with 300 apartments. I continued to buy more properties and eventually owned 13 different businesses in 2 different states, New York plus Vermont. I ran motels, restaurants, ski lodges, and all kinds of businesses. I was writing a ski column for the daily newspaper at the time and making a deal with the editor to turn my work in early so that he could have time to edit my writings because I really couldn't write. And then they published it. It allowed me to travel the world and ski for free. I was living the good life. Eventually, I wrote for a smaller newspaper called the Syracuse New Times. When they went out of business, I decided to buy it. I eventually grew that newspaper into the largest, most popular weekly newspaper in New York State with almost 100 employees. I met my wife, Shirley, at about 50 years old. She helped me run the newspaper and she edited and corrected all my writings. We've been married now for 35 years. I'll give it another 35 years and see where it goes. She was the one who insisted I write a book on my life story. I now lead a lot of community service programs and events here in Hamilton, and Shirley and I volunteer regularly at various community activities. Shirley and I like to go on drives and discover new places outside of Hamilton. We surprise each other for anniversary and birthday trips and love new adventures. I fill my days with seeing friends, keeping active, living modestly, and going to doctor's appointments to make sure I am staying healthy. I don't complain. I look at life as the glass half full. I believe that life is what you make it, and that's how we should all live.